Hi guys and welcome to Trustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What you are looking at is us road testing the Tata Curvv EV 55 kilowatt battery pack for the very first time. The first drive that we had was outside the city limits of Mumbai, but we finally road tested it and most importantly range tested the Tata Curvv EV in familiar conditions to us. And what it has delivered is a lot of information, a lot of insight, and a little bit of back and forth of understanding how the EVs work, at least in the Tata stable, because we've extensively road tested the car and driven it for almost 400 kilometers plus, and realized that the vehicle has a lot of promise. It earlier showcased us that it can deliver 400 kilometers of range in real life conditions. Tata claims somewhere between 400 and 425. We also kept at 400 kilometers of range. So with that in mind, we started the real world range test. We drove it in the city, we drove it on the highway, we drove it in eco mode, we at level 3 region. And what we realized is that while driving fast and slow on open roads and within city roads, what we saw is, most importantly, the range does not drop very quickly. So this is a LFP battery pack with prismatic cells that Tata had told us at the launch, and they have actually delivered on that aspect, because prismatic cells, as we know, are slightly better at conserving range. The density of the cells remains quite well intact throughout its emptying procedure. Whenever it starts to get empty, it doesn't go down very quickly. So that's one of the reasons why that you can have a little bit of fun without the counter range kilometer counter going down dramatically, which used to happen with the first initially few EVs that we saw with Tata and some other manufacturers as well. That chemistry of course improved, and that chemistry later on has been improved further with prismatic cells. So I think that's a fantastic thing that Tata has incorporated, because a lot of their rival manufacturers are also using the same thing. So that is one key thing that we noticed while driving for the 10 to 12 days that we had the car for. We drove it almost every other day, and we charged it as well through our home charger, a slow charger that was provided from Tata, which is an 11 kilowatt charger. And of course, the full charge can take somewhere between 7 to 8 hours, and most of the time we were getting a full charge around 7 hours. So going from 20-30% to full 100%, or just around 90-95%, was done within 7 to 8 hours. So I think that's a fantastic number to have. And it also depends on how you have set up your charging points and everything as well. So that's quite impressive. And it can be a little bit more faster as well if you get the faster charger from the aftermarket, the aftermarket shops as well. So there is an option for that as well, but that's a different and long story altogether. What we can tell you right now, after driving it within Bombay city and slightly outside and back from the satellite city of Bombay to and fro, is that it can deliver 360 kilometers of range in real life conditions. This is us driving in eco mode at level 3 region, using city and sport mode at the same time in between. So this is an average number that we've gotten after a lot of testing by both of us in the team, to make sure that we get a very good number. And all of those numbers are sort of pretty much seen on the instrument cluster as well. You have to use the trip meters very carefully to get the right numbers, and it is actually sensitive to the way you drive. It will change those numbers accordingly. If you drive faster, it will use more kilowatt per hour, and your range will go down slowly and steadily instead of very fast, because of the better cells that this car has. And what we thought was we could get 400 kilometers of it if we just stuck to the city with eco mode only and with level 3 region all the time. So that is a possibility where it can reach 380 to 385 kilometers quite easily, because 360 in a mixed condition, I think 380 in the city is a possibility only if you stick to under 80 kilometers an hour, use eco mode, use level 3 region all the time till you drain the entire charge. You can get 380 kilometers, or maybe 400 if you switch off the AC, or if the weather is very convenient for you, and you switch off the AC as well, you can probably reach 400 kilometers an hour as well. So Tata's claims come very close to situations where you're just limited to the city and you are at the absolute best settings where it can deliver the absolute best efficiency. So that's where I think the Tata's numbers rely on, or you have to be very rock solid with your acceleration inputs and heavily rely on regen every now and then to get that number. But 360 kilometers is not bad. I think anything that crosses above 300 is nowadays considered fantastic, considering that a lot of people have 50 to 100 kilometers of range, so they need to charge the vehicle every once or twice a week, and that is a very very impressive number for an EV to have. And you know we used the AC ride, we used all the modes, and we got 360 kilometers. 400 is a possibility, 380 is quite easy for everyday people, where they will not use sports mode or city mode as often as we did. So that is actually a very good number. And what has continued to impress us is the kind of handling that this car has. The steering feel and feedback was quite good. The ride quality is of course quite stiff. Headroom is just about okay at the back. And what really reminds me is that the Tata Curvv is an absolute fantastic case in terms of design, how it appeals to insert how it appeals to a good amount of audience, not a lot of audience in a certain way, because it's got that conventional design but with a hint of coupe the coupe design that it also carries, along with sharp elements on the front and the rear, just make it a really good SUV to look at. It's grabbing a lot of attention on the road. Every single color just helps it stand out in the crowd easily, and there is absolutely nothing like this right now in the market, at least in the EV space. But there are concept cars design which Mahindra has, which again are way too radical as well over the Curvv. So I think Curvv has an advantage of being contemporary and stylish at the same time, not outlandish. So that is where it can strike a chord with a lot of customers. You and me will think, and I think it can be a family car at the same time. It's a Tata, so it's got fantastic it's got a very fantastic infotainment system, instrument cluster now. It's got a good safety record, and that is what will help the Tata Curvv EV stand out in the market. It's one of the most stylish SUVs in this segment, and it has a lot of strong fortes, a very strong electric powertrain, a good record when it comes to safety, and now very good infotainment and technology packages as well. So Tata has worked really hard on the Curvv EV, and it shows. And we highly recommend this car if you're looking for a mid-size SUV in the EV space, because there is nothing clearly as good as this when it comes to everyday practicality and that hint of contemporary design, along with the striking elements that truly sets it ready for the future as well as the present. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time in the next video. Goodbye.